This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social, delighted to be joined by the IBF Featherweight Champion of the World, Josh Warrington. We're here at the Warrington-Frampton press conference in London. How are you, Josh?
You're not bad at that, are you, pal?
Not bad, yeah, getting better.
You should, do you practice at home?
Do you know what, the last time I did an intro like that, I did it with Lee Selby.
Right. No comment.
Well, it actually worked out okay for you, because the last time I did that was in Leeds, which is the last time I saw you.
Oh well, how's things been going since then? Are you alright?
Not too bad, thank you. Not as good as you. Picked up some silverware.
Goldware? Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Big fight in May. Created a bit of history for City Leeds. Proved all critics and doubt was wrong. And we're back into another big one. First pay-per-view show. Like I say, big fight with Carl, and very much looking forward to it.
Tell me a little bit about life as a world champion. Many people react to it differently. How's it been? Has it been everything you expected?
I don't know what, apart from the night of the fight, I don't really think of what things will be like after. Obviously, you think you get onto that world level and you start looking at the bigger paydays and whatnot, and going into life-changing, paydays and sums of money. But well, listen, I still go down to Asda in my slippers. Nothing's really changed there. I'm still at home changing shit in nappies, but that's it. I've got a world title to my name.
What's it been like in Leeds? You're somebody who's got such a huge fan base, way before you were even winning British titles. Has it been any different now, walking through as a world champion?
Yeah, I think a lot more people are very proud. I've had people coming up to me telling about their experience of the night. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear how they built up the night, what they did, what outfits they were wearing, what they did with their pals, and how they enjoyed the night, enjoyed the occasion. I've had many say it was one of the best days of life to see a local lad go on and achieve his dream, and it stays with me, stuff like that. It means a lot. I've had people following me for since I started my career. Since I turned pro, I can name many people who I owe so much to me, and I'll be forever indebted. But it were kind of for them as well as me and my family. The fans who have stayed behind me and supported me over the years have been fantastic, and it's been nice to go on and walk through Leeds and people to see me, and me just to say thank you for support.
Be honest, how many times have you watched the fight back?
Well, I think we're into triple figures now. It was only probably last week. Mrs. was upstairs, she come back down, and I was looking after babies, and we were all sat there watching the fight back. My excuse was that they enjoy watching it, but yeah, I've watched it many times. It's nice to just look back and think, wow, did we do that? Because hell of an occasion. Big stadium fight. Lucas Radibi behind me, Kaiser Chiefs playing us out. Doubted and written off and proved them all wrong, and it wasn't a bad fight to watch, to be fair.
When that's happening, you're somebody who's been a Leeds fan your whole life. You've got Lucas Radibi, you've got Kaiser Chiefs. When you're kind of in that moment, do you take it all in, or is it very much a blur and do you have to kind of look back at it afterwards?
No, you know what? Going into this one, it's probably one of the most relaxed I've ever been. All in the build-up, Listen, I won that fight. There was no doubt in me whatsoever. The day of the fight, I got a bit edgy, and then when I got down to Ellen Road, I enjoyed it. I loved being around it. I loved, walking out the tunnel and having a little look round. Stood there about to walk to the ring. I'm looking out at all these people screaming and shouting and chanting and walking to the ring. I enjoyed all of it, and then as soon as Lee got in the ring, switched and made my attention fully focused on Lee, and that was it. Obviously the rest of the fights kind of a bit of a blur, and after I just tried to take in as much as possible and just enjoy the moment.
Now, obviously, you've been back to Ellen Road since. After that night, do you kind of have has your relationship with Leeds and your relationship with Ellen Road sort of even gone on to another level since that night?
Yeah, keep inviting me back to director's seats, and that's obviously you pinch yourself and stuff like that. It's very nice to be rubbing shoulders with owners and the big boys there, and and whatnot. But listen, I'm a lad for state, and I sit there in them seats and I look over at the stands where most of my pals are sat. I'm thinking I want to be in there, but they don't last forever. It don't last forever. So I'm enjoying all this moment. I'm enjoying all the glory and the accolades what come with it.
Is there any sort of, not worry, but is there any part of you that sees that night as obviously being, I'm diplomatic in the sense of I've got kids too, so they'll always be the greatest nights of your life, but that night being such a special night for you, going into this fight, is there any wariness of like a hangover or not being able to get yourself up for it like you did on that night at Ellen Road?
No, because I think you get to the stage you want to keep hold of it. You want to keep hold of this, and you want to make more memories. I maybe thought the same when I won the British title. I'm like, is it going to be the same again? Because when I won that, it were what I'd set out to do, the first goal, and doing it at Leeds Arena, the first Leeds lads to headline the arena. Then I went on to win European, and I thought that was going to get better. Then I had some great nights with WBC International, and they're all their own little chapter. So yeah, Ellen Road was a special night in its own. But this is going to be a special night, and you've got to get up for these fights. You've got to do, and like I say, I've still got a burning desire in me to do better and to go on and unify. I've set myself a goal the next 12 to 18 months. I see myself beating Carl, going on like over to America, fighting in Vegas, and taking a big fan base with me, and just enjoying all little memories like that. And it don't last forever, like I said. So I'll give absolutely everything to my boxing and my craft, and yeah, I want to make a scrapbook, look back on year and on my time in boxing and say it was all worth it. And I've been doing this since I was 7 years old, and it's been a long old journey, and I've dedicated a lot, but it's all now paying off. And it's like this fight itself. I didn't have to take this fight. I could have took a steady voluntary, as it were. Even though I don't believe there is an easy fight at world level, but the fights like Barrera Morales, when you got two of the best fighting each other, Guy and Ward. Them fights excited me, and that's what the boxing fans want to see. And I often thought to myself that I'd been one of them fights one day. One of them where you're caught and you're bruised and you're bleeding and you're blowing heavy and you're giving it all and you're having to search for bits of energy. And I'm still waiting for that day to come, because the last fight I felt like I was cruising through it, steady away. I'm still waiting for that all-out war, but I'm enjoying everything, and I'm in a very good place at this moment in time.
Something you alluded to in the press conference, you've always been the underdog, you've always been written off, you'll never be British champion. I know it was Lee Selby who said a lot of these things, never be British, never be European, never be world. Now you're here, you're against Carl Frampton, you're still the underdog. The bookmakers have got you as the underdog. How does that make you feel? Does that sort of put the bit between your teeth? Does that bother you?
Oh, it pisses me off. No, listen, I couldn't give it two tosses, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, people will say whatever they want. Nobody was giving me a chance prior to the Selby fight, and you see the experts saying, "Oh, Warrington can't do this, Warrington can't do this." What? How do they know what I'm capable of doing? You know what I mean? They don't know what goes on in between, my ears. They don't go into my mind, and they don't see what's going on in the gym, in the training camps. They only see what I bring to the ring on the night, and I've always been saying when my time comes and my time to step up, then I will do. I thought I brought that against Selby, and I think now, in these big fights, it's the time to really show what Josh Warrington is capable of. And I'm an underdog again, but it just gives me that, just puts me back against the wall, and I think, right, I want to prove you wrong. I say after the Selby fight, scrolling through social media, I don't pay too much attention before him, but sat there with a cup of tea with a belt on the sofa and having a look through social media and saying, "Oh, what were you saying beforehand?" And it's nice. I don't want to get beginning about it, but it's nice, like sticking two fingers up to those, especially the ones who were the way they went about it. I mean, I read comments like, "Oh, he's going to be laid dead unconscious in his own stadium" and stuff like that. I mean, you think to them, you fucking tosser, what you're saying now, but social media, innit? And listen, people are always going to have their own opinions, and they're entitled to do so, but it's a two-horse race, and I've done nothing but do what I've had to do since I started my career, beating who's been in front of me, so I still think I've got more to bring, and they'll see that December 22nd.
Now, the build-up to this fight, I know we're only one day into it, but it struck me as very different today than the build-up to the Lee Selby fight, where there was a rivalry. It did kind of bring out a new side to you. It's very different today. Explain why that's different.
Yeah, I think the difference with the Lee Selby one was I didn't like him beforehand. Things had gone beyond just sporting men, but it had gone beyond a rival. It had become a personal rival. Comments being made over years of build up. You know, about my team, about my fans, about my family. You know, the wedding, and even his team. You know, behaved in a manner what I didn't think they would do. Obviously, my fans responded to it. His fans responded to it on social media. So when the fight came, listen, I ain't gonna turn around and let someone slag me off and not say out about it. You know, in the build-ups to all my other fights, I've always had respect for my opponent because it's a fucking hard game. You know, you put your body on the line, you get punched to the head. You have tragedies in the ring, you have life-changing injuries. It's a very hard game, and I always show respect to all my opponents because, listen, I've been doing it since 7-year-old. It's a long, I've been around the gyms many times. I've sparred with, you know, world champions and British champions, European champions, and you get to a stage where you just, you know, the fighting will take care of itself. But like I say, with him, I wanted to say my piece. I wanted to say what I thought of him. And that ain't no different to me. If it were to go down the street and someone called me a tosser, then I'd turn around and give the same kind of response to Lee. Today we're different because I respect Carl as a fighter. I go as far as to say I've enjoyed watching his fights. You know, over the years, especially when it's super bantam, he's the big fights like Scott Quigg, and even prior to building up with Kiko Martinez, I've enjoyed watching him. You appreciate another boxer's skill and what he's capable of doing. So for me, I don't feel like there's any animosity. He's pretty similar to me. He's a bit of a family man. He loves his hometown. He enjoys football and sports, and that's same with me. And I think it was one of them if he would turn around and start slagging me off. And I don't mean like slagging me off by saying he's better than me, because he's going to say that. That's natural. He's not going to turn around and say, oh yeah, Josh Warrington, you're better than me. He's going to think he's better than me. That's why we're having the fight. But if he's kept it mutual, then I keep it mutual, and vice versa. And I feel like, you know, we've both got great sets of fans. It's going to be a hell of an atmosphere, and we've got 12 rounds to sort of settle our differences, to prove who's the best, and I think that should be enough. You know, I think if I were to turn around and start acting like a bell end, then people would see straight through it. You know, like I said previous, when I was behaving maybe a little bit differently in the last build-up, I didn't give a fuck what people thought, because you know, it was between me and Lee, and it upset me, so I'm fucking saying what I thought. They don't realise what had gone on over the years, and it stayed with me. So, you know, right to say that. But if this time round, then it'd be forced, and I'm not about to do that. And it's not in my nature anyway. You know, normally what you see with me is what you see is what you get. And you know, like I say, it's two of the best fighting each other, and you know, we show respect there. As soon as the first bell goes, respect scouts at the window, we fight, and after that, I'd like to think that we shake hands after.
And the fight against Lee Selby is something else that was brought up during the press conference. People kind of pinned you as this, you're just going to come forward, you're going to let your hands go. There were large portions of the fight where you outboxed Selby, and you boxed brilliantly to a game plan. Yet still people are, again, pitting you as the underdog, or people after that fight were talking about Selby being weight drained. Does that frustrate you? It seems like you're always sort of fighting against the grain, and people are coming up with excuses.
Kind of used to it now. I've got to be honest with you, I'm kind of used to it. You know, I'm not searching for credit, because you know, I'm happy with my own achievements. Like, I can sleep at night, I can put my head on my pillow, knowing what I've achieved and how happy I am. Like I say, I've still got fire in my belly. I still want to prove people wrong, but I don't get like too worked up. It annoyed me a little bit with, like, it seems that Lee just won't let it go. I seen an interview I watched last night with an Irish boxing, Welsh boxing page or whatever, and even the guy who was interviewing him, he keeps on saying, "I'm going to give him a bit of credit," and he just can't let it go. You know, after that fight, I wanted to go see him in his change rooms, and you know, he was a bit upset with how the fight went. But even then, all his interviews ever since have just been, "No boy, I would have weight drained." They weren't fucking saying that when he were winning. That was never an excuse, and everyone knew he was weight drained. You know, it's like, I'm in great physical condition. Yeah, he's going to say that, but after, you know, my weight was killing me and blah blah blah. Well, you know, if you'd have won the fight, that wouldn't even come into the equation. And like, I think when he got interviewed, they said to him, "Was Josh Warrington the same as you expect?" "Yeah, we're the same as I expected." No, they brought not different. Well, if that's the case, why the fuck didn't you do anything different? You just don't let it go, and if it's left it a bit better. My annoyance with that is all the build-up he kept on saying, you know, I'm a true champion, and if I were to lose the fight, which I'm not going to, but if I were to lose, I'd take it as a champion and I'd show respect because that's the kind of fighter that I am, that's the kind of man I am. Josh Warrington's a playground bully. He's contradicted himself and he's gone against his word, and for me, we should have been left there. We were 12 good rounds, and I wished him best of luck in his career, whatever he decided to do, whether he move up, he was never going to get a rematch, but whether he moved up or retired or whatever, I would have wished him all the best, and I thought that would have been it, but I just fucking think he's still better, and it's a bit sad there.
Talking about Carl Frampton, is Carl Frampton a more difficult fight for you than Lee Selby?
I don't know. I think that I can win this fight as comfortable as I did the Lee Selby fight. I do genuinely believe that. I've seen things with Carl over the last few years where I've, just like Lee, we start studying and you think you can exploit them. Carl knows I fight at an high pace, and he can fight at an high pace too. He's very technical, he's very skilled, he's got good distances, good range. But I think at featherweight, he probably not the same force as he was at super bantam. It's only a £4 difference, but it can make it massive in terms of punch power and everything else. So we'll see. But I think I'll win this fight as comfortable as I did against Lee.
Now, you mentioned that you watched him. It's obviously very complimentary about him as a super bantam. What did he do well, and why do you think that he's different now? You mentioned that there's been a change in him in the last couple of years. Of course, you've improved in that period of time as well. Why do you feel like this is, in your opinion, is this a more winnable fight for you now than it would have been a couple of years ago?
Timing, momentum, experience. Maybe a few years ago when today's press conference, someone mentioned the Patrick Island fight. Maybe at the time I was still learning on that level, but even if you look back at pictures now from like end of that camp to the end of my last camp, I'm just reaching my peak years. I was European champion at like 23, 24. I'd come through very quickly, not a chance to really settle into fighting these big names and learning. And I went on, onto the international level, fighting like Isashi Amagasa and Joe Bruckner, not only dealing with them kind of names and fringe world title opponents, but dealing with pressure. I was a few years ago when being billed as the next Ricky Hatton, and I've gone from fighting small old shows to having 10,000 band with an high expectation of Josh doesn't win this fight. Everyone just believing that the fights were given, even though I still had to go train my bollocks off and go in there and give me all to win the fight. And what's come with that is experience, and I've learned and I've been able to adapt. And I think certainly over the last year and a half or so, I feel like I'm reaching my peak now. I feel like I'm stronger than ever, and I look over my records, my runs are faster, I feel like I'm hitting harder, I know I'm hitting harder, and I'm always learning my boxing brain as well, always developing and working on timing, reactions. I feel like I'm just getting to my peak years, whereas Carl, he's been there, and you can only hold it for a certain time, for a certain amount of years, and he's had some hard fights, he's had a lot going on outside of boxing. And like I said, I think it's about timing, and this is my time to start my journey at the very top.
You mentioned going from the small halls to 10,000, from British to European to now world. The Ellen Road experience, having that, do you think that going forward you'll never... Well, firstly, did you feel under pressure, even on the morning of the fight, going into the ring with all of that? And if so, do you feel like you'll now be able to sort of benefit from that moving forward?
Yeah, I did feel a bit of pressure. I did feel a bit of pressure. Obviously, you have 20,000 people there, high expectation. You can't lose at Ellen Road. They go there like most weeks, and you don't want to be sat in your seat thinking, "I've got chin there, do you?" It's one of the worst things ever. And I don't think I'd been able to walk around in it. It was as though my career were riding on it, as daft as it seems. It did feel like my career were riding it, because we'd been speaking about Lee for so long. I felt like I could beat him. And I wanted that fight desperately, and he wouldn't have shut up the hype train, and it felt like if I'd have lost, then it would have been like pop, the bubble would just burst. But by the time the night came, I was just so confident. I mean, and so relaxed as well. I was probably the most relaxed I've ever been, really was. But you take a lot of experience from that, and I think fighting at Leeds in the arena, I'd built up a thicker skin. I remember like beating Rendell, Martin Lindsay, David Dialli in 4 rounds for the European title, and then the next time round I was boxing Dennis Tebbutt and it was seen as, you know, Josh was a bit of a walkover fight, and I kind of run away with myself with the crowd, and I won the fight on all 12 won all 12 rounds, but personally I was unhappy with my performance because boxing skills went out the window, and it just wasn't a great performance in my own personal opinion, and I learned a lot from that, because I think maybe I got carried away. But again, it's something what I've learned from experience, and that all builds up over the years. And when you get to this level, you've got a good CV behind you. You know, we've had the big nights in front of the big stadiums, the big occasions, and that's why I'm feeling as confident as ever for this next one.
I've just got a couple more questions because I know you've got to get off. Something I actually spoke to Frank Warren about. If you were to win this fight, when you win this fight, beg your pardon, you would have beaten Lee Selby and Carl Frampton. That's kind of fighter of the year territory. Is that something you've thought about?
It's Carlsberg, the cheers. But no, listen, I'm up for the British Boxing Border Control, fight of the year and fighting you with Lee. Listen, it'd be an honour, very very much so. But I'd look at that, to be honest with you. You don't even think about that. You just think about winning the fights in front. And I want to leave a bit of a legacy. And like I said earlier, I want to fight the best. And to have Lee and Carl on my CV in the same year will be hell of a year. And that's why I've taken the fight, because that's how I want my 2018 to end.
Okay, well, Josh Warrington, we're getting some very disapproving looks from Dev, who's now in the shot. Just give a final message to fans who are going to be tuning in to watch you December the 22nd at Manchester when you take on Carl Frampton.
So those who are coming over and travelling in the numbers, listen, you know it's real. Plenty of noise. Yeah, there we go. Those who are travelling over the 22nd, plenty of noise. Bring the atmosphere, bring the support, enjoy yourselves, behave. You don't be getting locked up on Christmas Day. And I'll see you all after for a pint. And if you're watching on TV, then enjoy it. Just enjoy it with yourself. Get your friends and family around and enjoy a great fight. And still, that's it. And still.
Josh Warrington, the IBF featherweight champion of the world. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.